In this session, we will be going over getting started with Silk4J. We will be covering how to create a new Silk4J project, how to create a new test class and test method, how to configure SilkTest to recognize your application, how to record a script, and once completed with that script, how to add additional methods to our test class. For this session, we will be using a web application as our sample project. From within Eclipse, when you've installed the Silk4J plugin, you'll have an additional button in your Java perspective. This would be the Silk4J option. By clicking on this button, we will be able to create a new Silk4J project. We'll call this one Insurance Co. We click through the steps just like we do within a standard Eclipse project. In this Eclipse project, though, we will automatically have the SilkTest JTF library and JUnit 4, which is the harness for executing our test scripts. Once set up, we will now create a new test class. A package is optional, but very good for organizing your tests into different sections. We'll need a name for our test class. For this one, I'm going to call this AutoQuote. And a test method, which will be test get AutoQuote. Now that we have a new test class and test method, we will be creating our application configuration. For this, we're going to be choosing a website test configuration. We will be letting SilkTest determine our application settings by looking at an existing browser. Now that that's completed, SilkTest will start the recording process. Now you may notice as I'm moving my mouse around that there's a green box that's highlighting different objects on a page. This is letting us know that SilkTest understands and recognizes an object that's under the mouse cursor. And by pressing the Control and Alt keys, I can place verifications through my script. In this case, I'm going to make sure that I am on the automobile instant quote page. And when I get to the last page, I'm going to verify that the quote is for $500. I'm now finished with my script and can press the Stop Recording button. This will create a new test class which will have many things, including this desktop.find, which is where we will be finding the application that's going to be used, as well as the objects that we are going to be interacting with. In this case, a menu, a select menu, and different inputs along the way. To make this a little smaller, we can use built-in Eclipse capability and refactor this out into a local variable. We're going to call it browser and click OK. This refactors the existing test script and makes it considerably smaller and easier to read. Once this is completed, we can play back our tests by clicking on the play button. Once our test is complete, we can see in Eclipse that all tests were completed successfully. To add additional test cases, we can either do it manually or using the Silk4J plugin can add another test method that will go inside this test. And from there we would be able to record another test script. That concludes getting started with Silk4J.